Hello, hello, hello. My name is Leona. I am your Akashic Records channeler. This is a timeless reading for you. If this video has met you, it is meant for you today. And what I'm tapping into is that the universe is planning on testing you to see if you're truly ready. And so, what I'm feeling is that you have been experiencing a lot more imagination and that you've been putting into play some of the plans that you have for your future. Whereas before you might have felt a little bit clouded, that you weren't really sure about where you're going or where things are headed, you're starting to have a lot more inspiration, a lot more fire towards your future. And some of the sort of stuck energy that you might have been feeling before has been clearing out. And so you feel more inspiration. There's a bit of a fresh energy around you, and that you have some more ideas and clarity around where you'd like your life to go, and that you might be feeling a little bit like your eyes have opened up a little bit more to what's possible for you. And it's a very exciting time for you. And so you want to hold on to this energy, because I feel like the universe will test you to see if you truly are ready to start moving forward. And with that, you're going to be reminded about some of the things that you've sort of left behind, some of the things that have made you disappointed in your path. There's going to be situations that's going to be brought up where you're going to feel the reminder of the grief and the disappointment that you felt, that triggered you in the past and that had you sort of in this stuck energy. The disappointments, and whether that's through relationships or problems, maybe some pessimism that you felt in the past will resurface. And this might be a result of an instance that occurred. Something might actually trigger these feelings in your life, or this could just very well be an influx of these feelings of disappointment and grief and loss that you felt in the past that seemingly has come up out of nowhere. And so the universe wants you to know that this is a test to see what you will do, because this is a pattern, a well-worn pattern that you've experienced in your emotions over and over again. And that now you're finally on the other side and you're having more clarity and more imagination and more inspiration, and you're feeling more fresh and less stuck. But the universe will test you to see if you're ready, because these feelings that are familiar to you will rise up again. And the question is, what are you going to do with it? And the answer should be to remind yourself that you are in a new space, and that all is not lost. And the things that you've been through does not define who you are as a person, and that there's more waiting for you now in the future on the other side of all the things that you've been through. And so the question is, the universe is asking, are you going to give up? Are you going to just continue to sit in this cycle of grief and loss? Or are you going to move forward? Are you going to recognize that there's still more for you? And that though you've been through a lot and the feelings of your grief is very, very valid, that it doesn't define who you are as a person, and that there's still more for you in this life. And so that will be your test to see if you're ready for that. And I find that if you pass this test and you move through it and experience your feelings, but recognize that there's still more for you, and that you can still separate yourself from this cycle, knowing that there's more for you on the other side of things, that's when the little sprinkles of opportunity are going to present themselves. And that's when you know you've passed the test. This is when you're going to see a little bit more charming, sort of romantic opportunities that present themselves, whether that's in the form of a new relationship, or it's going to be in the form of something that seems sort of interesting to you, whether that's through career or any category. It doesn't have to be love related. But I'm finding that you're going to notice that the universe is providing you a little bit more of something, that you're going to get a little bit of spark, you're going to get a little bit of intrigue, and it's going to make you feel excited. That's when you can recognize you've passed this phase of the test, that you are getting a little bit of a nudge from the universe, whether that's regarding love. This would come in the form of somebody maybe chatting you up off the street. This could be an offering for a date or to connect with someone new. Say you meet someone at a party. Now, I will say that these could also be with regards to work. Maybe you find that there's a really interesting job opportunity that presents itself, or somebody mentions that there's an opening at their job and you really like the work that they do, or your business starts to increase and you start getting a few more bookings or a few more clients than you have in the past. That's when you're going to know the universe is giving you a little bit of sprinkles to let you know you're on the right path. Now, this is where the next phase of the test comes in, because yes, the tests are not over at this point, because when you have been learning your lessons up until this point, there are still opportunities to backslide naturally because you're human, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you will be tested because the universe isn't sure if you are truly ready for this new path. And so that's when the little drops of opportunities, the little sprinkles of hope will pop onto your path. And whether or not you decide to go for them, these opportunities, that's going to be part of the test. Are you going to move forward and try something new? Are you going to lead with your heart and walk towards these opportunities in a very heart-led decision making? Or are you going to become fearful and decide that you feel more comfortable in the past because experiencing something new feels a little bit scary? And because of the unknown, you might feel like you need to retreat back and maybe say no to the date or no to the job opportunities, or decide you don't want to apply, or you don't capitalize on the new clients that you receive, whatever, if you have a business of your own. And so that's when the second phase of the test is. It's like the universe is going to give you sprinkles of what you're asking for to see if you're going to actually move towards it. You're going to get sprinkles of opportunity, and the universe is going to see if this person is ready, if you're ready to move forward with this path, or are you not ready yet? And you want to be ready. You want to move forward if it feels right for you. And I think you definitely don't want to feel like you're needing to control your environment. This is the opportunity where, with this heart-led direction that you're in, there's going to be a lot of unknowns. And so this is the opportunity to lead into the unknown when it feels right from a soul-led perspective, and to not feel that you need to control what's coming your way. You don't want to block your opportunities. You don't want to stagnate the energy. You don't want to stifle the progress that you're making by being scared and maybe not following through on it. Maybe you're fearful of putting yourself out there in opportunities when you have the opportunity to speak in public or have the opportunity to put your business on social media, and you feel a little bit scared to do that. And so instead of doing it anyways, you retreat back into the comfort zone. That's going to take you a couple steps back, and then that's going to put you in the space of feeling grief and sorrow and loss, and feel like you've been sort of left out in the cold, and this feeling of disappointment. You're going to push yourself back into that cycle. And I want to say that it's easy for you to get out of. This isn't to be fear driven. If you step back into that cycle of the loop, you have to just step back out of it. But just know, hopefully with this video allows you to know and get the heads up that this is coming your way, so you know exactly what's happening, and that you can feel a little bit more confident to walk towards what feels right for you, instead of retreating back out of fear, and out of fear of losing control of your environment, feeling like you're losing control of your destiny. Because right now you're in a place where you're very intuitive. I feel that you've very much locked in to your higher self, or your guides, or both, and you're in a really good position to really follow what feels right, because you are very locked in and you know where you're going, and you're trusting your intuition and you're trusting your gut. And so it's important to just continue to do that, and just know that your intuition is strong, and that even your spiritual gifts are stronger than they ever have been. And trust, that is your hope. That is your inner guidance taking you into the direction where you need to go. You don't need to listen to the spiraling thoughts of fear and worry to direct you to where you go. You now listen to your inner guidance, into your higher guidance, and you just move from the heart towards your goals and dreams and on the path that you need to. And that is the energy that you need to follow, instead of the fear and the worry. So really try not to move back into this worry, fear, grief mindset, because it's just going to hold you back. And so as long as you recognize that it's happening, you can still do it anyways. And this is the thing, it's like the feeling of fear and worry might not go away, especially if something's being presented to you that's new and you've never done it before. It's scary, you're nervous, it's very understandable, but you have to do it anyways. You have to just push through the fear, override the fear with action, and just take that leap of faith, because your inner guidance is taking you in the direction that you need to go. And that is the hope that's leading you towards your future. And so don't just wait. The inner thoughts, the worries, the fears, the cyclical nature of the spiraling thoughts, they come, and that's completely normal. The more that you override it by action, the more that you override it by moving towards what feels right, the less loud these thoughts will be moving forward. It's like every time you override it by listening to your intuition versus listening to your spiraling thoughts, your spiraling thoughts will get quieter and quieter as time goes on. So this is part of the test. It's listening to your guidance over your worries and fears. And so the difference between what's happening in your mind and what's happening in your heart is that what's happening in your mind might be fear driven, it might be worry, it might be the fear of putting yourself out there, it might make you feel like people might not like you and you might get some sort of hate, but you have to do it anyways. You have to just step forward anyways and do what feels right. And so the last sort of phase of the test is very important, because when we have thoughts that are negative around our grief and our disappointments, it might feel almost comforting to go back to them because they are so familiar to us. And so part of the test the universe wants you to know is that you need to start creating new thoughts, start creating new experiences, and moving in a direction you wouldn't normally take, to get used to being out of that loop. It's almost like part of the test is, will you retreat back to what feels comfortable, even though what feels comfortable is a bit negative in nature? Or will you override it and move forward to create the version of you that no longer listens to the negativity and no longer feeds into the fear-driven thoughts? It's almost like there is a part of you that might be addicted to the grief, addicted to the negativity, addicted to the disappointment and the feeling of loss, because it ends up becoming comfortable to lean into those feelings because those are feelings that have become so familiar to you. But now is an opportunity to break free from those chains and move forward to create new thoughts and new feelings, and break out of these cycles. And so that's all I have for you. Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.